Grab you a cup of coffee, and today we are going to be talking about a fun science elective for your high school students. Hey everyone, I am really looking forward to this class because this is actually one of the high school classes that I took when I was in public school high school that I thought was super beneficial to high school students. So I'm looking forward to teaching this class with my kids and going through it with them. It is called Nutrition Science. So in public school, you take nutrition and food together, and it's half talking about just the nutrition of food and the other half teaching students how to cook. And it's a one semester class. But again, with homeschool, you most of the time just do a class year round unless it's designed to be a one semester class like government, economics, health, personal finance, classes like that, which you could still extend any of those classes to be year round if you want them to. But they're only required for one semester. Nutrition class in homeschool is a class that can be for the full year. So one of the things that I started doing was first thing I do whenever I'm creating my own curriculum for a class, like I did for this one, was I go and find the resources that I'm going to be using. This time I found one website and I'm mostly springboarding just off of that website. And I think the website is called Ag Classroom. And from there, I just found a fun list of topics in alphabetical order to be able to use for my students. So again, with any of the ones that I make my own curriculum lesson plan for, now I didn't write the curriculum. They wrote the actual curriculum. When I say writing my own curriculum, I write my own plan of order out, piece together different things together because I'm not just using their resources on every single thing. And then I put it all into a PDF. If you're interested in that PDF, you can either give $1 on this video on Super Thanks, or you can become a channel member for 1 month at 99 cents a month. And I will email you the PDF of, and I don't sign you up for anything. That's not my goal. I'm not going to send you spam. Hey, thanks for subscribing. The goal is just to send it to you. That's it. I don't do spam, email, any of that. I'm just going to tell you all thanks for subscribing in the videos. So if you want that resource, it's there, 99 cents, or do $1 on the Super Thanks on this video. But let me go ahead and go through what it is. So because we're doing this for 1 year, and next year, now our years are different. Next year I have 2 graduating high school, 1 turning 16. My 13-year-old will have completed her first year of high school, and it's Matt and I's 20th anniversary. So we are taking 2 weeks off next year in the spring to do a big family vacation. So our year looks a little different. Plus, I actually do school for the week of Thanksgiving because there's stuff that we do that I count as school for the week of Thanksgiving. So there is stuff that we'll be doing the week of Thanksgiving, but we do take 2 weeks off at Christmas. We take a winter vacation. Next year we won't take the winter and spring because of that big trip. But we take time off and our schedule looks different. So for us, the school year is 35 weeks next year. The only thing we are required is 180 days of school in Tennessee. And actually, technically it's 170, and then there's flex days in there. But we're supposed to schedule 180 days. But when you're a Christian homeschooler, if you're at church 4 hours on Sunday, that counts as a school day because 4 hours is all that's required to count as a school day. So I kind of do a little more flexibility with that as well. And then also we do field trips and community service and things. And I would count that as a school day as well. But yeah, so this plan does cover 35 weeks for a school year. So I'm just going to name off the topics that we're using from that website. And then, like I said, if you want this planned out. So what we do is when we plan it out, we'll do week 1, title what we're studying that week, day 1, day 2, day 3. We only do a 3-day week for written curriculum for our kids because 1 day a week is for labs and hands-on activities only. Now, some of this is hands-on activities. If I write out a lesson plan, it's going to have 1 day is designated hands-on activities only. But we have 1 day set aside for physics labs, biology labs, chemistry labs for our kids, or hands-on activities, community service. And then our 5th day of school each week is our shopping day. And we talk about things like nutrition, budget, shopping, just in general kindness to people when you're in public. So we only do 3 days of written work. Also, if we're sick, it's a whole lot easier to get caught up. And we can get a lot in. We cram so much into those 3 days, which is why I'm so picky about what I choose, because I want them to still have as much information plugged in at a time as they can, but also have the liberty of taking a little more time off if they need to. So I'm going to go through this. I'm going to try to be quick. And like I said, if you want this out as a PDF with like day 1, day 2, day 3 with the weeks, what we're discussing, then $1 for super thanks in this video, 99 cents a month for the membership. Just be a member for 1 month. Week 1 is, and this is all alphabetical because that's how their website worked. And I only changed one alphabetical order, but it also mostly worked. So week 1 is going to be a closer look at fats. There's a video. We're going to read over the lesson for day 2. And then day 3, there was a science experiment for that day. And so for nutrition, all we're doing is talking about the nutrition that's in the food. How is this different from health class? Health class is focused on the overall general health of your body. We talked about this in the video where I was talking about the lesson plan that I wrote for health class. That's also available for PDF sale if you want. It's physical body, psychological, are you getting enough sleep, personal hygiene. Those are things covered in health class that are not in here. Nutrition class is just focused on the nutrition in the food that you eat and how it makes you feel. That's the only thing nutrition focuses on, which is why I didn't use this course for health class. So for 1 year, week 1, we're going to be doing a closer look at fats. Week 2 is a tale of 2 burgers, and it gives children, the teenagers, the information to compare meat burgers versus plant-based burgers and share the pros and cons of both. And I love the way that they're doing that. There's a video. There are vocabulary words. So a lot of the time you don't see me pushing a lot of vocabulary because I feel like pushing vocabulary in school was a big turnoff for me as a public school student because every class had vocabulary and you were spending 30 minutes a night looking up those vocabulary words and writing down the definitions. And then you weren't really progressing that much in school. So I don't do vocabulary that often, but if it's something that I feel like my kids need to know the vocabulary of what those words mean, I'll plug it in. So every now and then in here, we do add vocabulary for it. So week 2 is going to have vocabulary. And then week 3, there are 4 hands-on projects that we're going to work on. Week 3 is beef making the grade. So there's 1 video and then there's 2 hands-on activities for teaching your kids what kind of beef or what kind of quality of meat there is in beef and how to tell the difference between the different cuts. Week 4 is before the plate. You're going to be watching a video on, this one's a video on Prime. So this week, they recommend going on Prime and renting a video by a Canadian chef who goes and shows people 10 actual farmer resources from where he gets his food and teaching why farmers are important, why we need to have more laws to protect farmers instead of punishing farmers with carbon taxes. And he goes into describing those things of why are they important? Why do we need them to keep going? And how do we keep feeding, our growing population of people? And I love the way that the video is laid out. So we're going to be watching that. And then there's going to be a hands-on. And then we're also doing a journaling project. And for any subject that's not literature, I do a 200-word cap on writing. Because again, I remember the pressures of a public school student spending 2 to 4 hours a night on high school work. So I don't want my kids writing huge reports for every single thing, especially if the subjects are crossed. Week 5 is chain of food, video, vocabulary. And then that one, we're going to be doing a field trip to a farm that owns their own pizzeria and ice cream shop so that they can actually physically see a farm provides everything they need to make their pizza shop and their ice cream parlor. And I think that's really cool. So we're looking forward to that. Week 6, cooking right, the science of cooking a hamburger. So now we've gone from where does it come from? What's the cut of it? How is the proper way to cook it? And the things that they cover in here as well that I love is there's also food safety tips intermingled into some of these topics. Video, hands-on. Week 7 is going to be don't forget the eggs. We talk about the protein in eggs and why they're beneficial to people. And also eggs are super cheap protein. So when I'm teaching, senior students who are either going workforce or college next, they need to know, hey, if I need more protein, I can afford to buy eggs usually. So I wanted to plug that in. Fast food footwork. I don't remember what that one was. Food safety checklist. So I think that was the one where they're talking through how to eat healthy when you're eating out and how to make substitutions. Food science bread dough challenge. Self-explanatory. Fruits and vegetables, the right pick for vitamins and minerals. So one of the things I learned in nutrition and food class that I didn't learn anywhere else was everybody says green beans are a dark green vegetable. Technically, they're considered a starch. Who knew? And that's some of the things that they're going to be coming in here. Healthy eating away from home. That's another one of focusing on how to eat healthy when you're eating away from home, how to make those substitutions, and how sometimes, like for us, sometimes we'll go to like and pick up a sides or a salad that's already prepackaged versus Wendy's, which is fries and things. So that's some of the things that we do, and I wanted to re-emphasize that. Where are we on the time frame? Oh, that's the other thing too, is like I plan out and show you how to plan out the days of the month or the weeks together, and plan all that together. Herbs and spices of the world. Week 13 is looking under the label. Mastering mindful eating. This one is on how some children will either undereat or overeat because they're distracted while they're eating. And this is showing teens how you need to be mindful of what you're eating while you're eating it. And number one, it goes down better. Number two, they've proven that it's healthier to do it that way. And then number three, you're balancing your diet a lot better that way. Week 15 is mystery juice. And they call it mystery juice because we're going to compare in a petri dish under a microscope the difference between pasteurized and unpasteurized juices. The geography of Thanksgiving dinner. That's the one that I moved around. It was under T for the. And we're going to be doing the geography of Thanksgiving dinner for our Thanksgiving week. We're actually not watching their video. We're going to watch It's America Charlie Brown when they do the first Thanksgiving. And then we're going to be doing the geography of Thanksgiving dinner food cards that they provide with it, of teaching our kids where in America does our Thanksgiving food come from, and did they eat that at the first Thanksgiving. When we start back for the 2 weeks before Christmas, we're going to do nutrients to get less of and nutrients to get more of. And the nutrients to get less of does the experiment where they're going to see how much sugar is in a carbonated beverage. Then week 19, we're going to be going into our winter semester. So nutrition, or spring semester, nutrition across the lifespan. And this is going to cover several weeks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 weeks. I broke this down to 8 weeks. You probably could do it all in one day if you're trying to fit more in. But I broke it down to 8 weeks. So since the first week back for the spring semester only has 2 days, we're going to watch the video to teach or start off the nutrition across the lifespan series. And then we're doing the vocabulary for that day. For the rest of it, each day we're going to be watching a video. There's a foldable that you print out. I will have to get my printer situation taken care of before then. There's a foldable thing that you do that's like tips and tricks. And then there's a hands-on activity for each day. So the first one is pregnancy. And yes, I do, again, seniors in high school, they're fixing to go on to college. They may move on to lifestyle. Matt and I were married at 18, and then we had our first baby 18 months later. So I think that it's okay to teach high school kids, hey, when you decide to start a family, you need to be careful of what you're eating while you're pregnant. Also, if they decide to start doing nannying to earn some money along the side as they're saving money for college or career, maybe they'll end up having to help one of those moms and you've all probably met them, like the moms that they're sick the entire pregnancy and they need extra help to help them stay on top of their nutrients and things. And so just for that too, they could be helping these moms, and knowing the nutrients that mom would need could be a huge help to her. The next one on here is nutrition for infancy. So of course we know either they're going to be nursing or they're going to be bottle fed for the first several months, but how to start babies on food, what food to start them on first, how to slowly introduce fruits and vegetables to them, how much protein do they need, when to start them on cow's milk, that's covered all in here. Early childhood goes, I think, 2 to middle childhood to pre-adolescence. Yeah, so I think it goes from 2 to 6, maybe 3 to 6 years old. But again, if they're going to be babysitting or daycare, they know hey, if I'm in charge of prepping food, maybe I should offer these foods to them. And it's also how to deal with picky toddlers. And I think that's a good thing to cover because everybody's oh, I'm going to show up and these kids are going to eat whatever I serve them. So it's a very good, cool tip of how to teach toddlers to eat the vegetables and make it fun for them. So that's another thing that's going to be covered. Middle childhood to pre-adolescence. So this is mid-elementary school through middle school. And it's also going to be talking about everybody thinks, oh, this age group, just let them eat whatever they want. And science has actually now proven that this age group actually needs more of specific vitamins. So now they're trying to teach people, hey, in this age group, you need to push more of these vitamins because this is what their growth is hitting. The next one is teenage years. And there's a cool game that they're going to get to play of should teens eat this or should they do this? And it's like an either or situation. And yeah, I know like this is when they're 17, so they won't need it as much. They're fixing to become adults and do adult diets and things. But again, like they have younger siblings who will be kind of watching along as they do this. And also like it'll be a cool tip for them of like how to finish off being a teenager. The next one on here is adulthood. And this covers the largest span of your life. So you need to know what vitamins do I need to be a functioning adult, and how, again, like adults, we have to make those decisions of, no, we can't have pizza every single night, even though we did when we were teenagers or wanted to when we were teenagers. No, we can't actually just eat whatever we want. We have to make healthy choices to keep sustaining a healthy lifestyle. And then the last one on here is seniors. So like this is something they need to realize is like eventually they will be seniors unless something happens to them. They will be seniors in life. And also as an adult, they may end up caring for a senior citizen, or even as they're in their college years, they may end up assisting in a senior living or something. So this is something that they need to know, and that like diets change when you become a senior. So then after that, we're going to move on to the rest of the curriculum and go from there. So the next one is the next one is preservation power of honey. So we're going to get slightly into preservation things, but also talk about how you can use things like honey to preserve instead of a lot of high salt or high fructose corn syrup. The next one is say cheese to protein. And it talks about how everybody thinks protein is like a big fat steak. That's not always true. And you can find other protein supplements, especially for breakfast. Stacking up milk and milk substitutes. So again, like we did with the burgers of comparing the beef and the veggie burgers, we're going to be comparing all milk substitutes, which is also a great topic because I have a lactose-free one. And also, I don't do as much milk as I probably should or maybe shouldn't. I don't know. I don't think I have a milk sensitivity. It's just sometimes I prefer to do milk substitutes because my body just handles it differently. So like in the winter or summertime when I do cold coffee, I like oat milk in it. So we're going to be looking at like, what are those substitutes? Are they healthier? Are they not? What's a better choice that we can make? Because like maybe the super high sugar chocolate almond milk is maybe not as good as like cow's milk. So we're going to be comparing all those things. And there's a chart that they'll fill in to compare. The water footprint of food. And the other thing that it talks about here is one topic of today's society is we're going to run out of food. We need to charge higher carbon taxes because we're going to run out of food. And they compare like, are we actually going to run out of food? What are some smart choices we're going to make? How do we sustain our environment the way that it is? Also sustain our bodies. And we talk about those pros and cons. And again, like I love the way they teach it because it leaves it up to personal interpretation. Ultra high pressure treatment. This is going to be, and I'll go ahead and plug in here. This is where I'm assigning my kids. This is outside of their curriculum. I have a report that I'm assigning to my kids on the history of preservation of food and where it started with and who actually started it. And then we're going to be doing a hands-on activity of like, why was this canned this way? Why was this canned this way? Why are they not compatible to being canned the same way? The next one is understanding bacteria. And my grandmother, I love her so much because she is such a huge supporter of like me teaching my kids at home. And she has a doctorate and she's a microbiologist. And so I'm planning on doing a lot of fun activities with her on this understanding bacteria and talking about microbiology. Weighing in on egg labels, supply and demand. So supply and demand is something that they'll already be covering because at the same time as this, they'll be taking economics. Spoiler, that's what the next video is about. And they're already going to be talking about economics anyways. But now they're going to see economics that they've already learned earlier in the semester and see how that applies to their food demand. And how like a couple of years ago, last year, we had a shortage on eggs. So eggs went up to like $3 to $4 a dozen. And so we're going to talk about supply and demand. We're going to talk about food sources and how to prepare for circumstances without being a hoarder. And I love that they emphasize that. What's on the nutrition facts label? This is one that I probably could have put at the beginning of the semester, but I'm not going to. Because also like there's like the way I planned this, I was also thinking, what information do I need them to remember absolute last before they're off into the world and graduate? And this is one that I want them to do because I have a child who looks at the nutrition facts labels because of bad friends in her past that we're no longer friends with, who would be like, oh, well, it has this much calories, so you shouldn't eat it. And it was like a super healthy food. And so like this teaches like some super healthy foods may have higher calories, but they have less sugar, less salt, more vitamins, things like that. So we're going to talk about how to actually read a nutrition facts label on food. And then this was where the class actually ended. So I added my own last subject in here, and it's going to be how to eat healthy in college or career. And I'm really looking forward to that. And there's some little projects that we're going to be doing with that. And then the last day of class, we're going to be doing something together that I hope will sustain them through their life as they move on from high school to college. So I'm really looking forward to teaching this class. I'm looking at it like this is my last chance with my second oldest, who has been homeschooled since birth. She's going to be a senior next year. And I'm really looking forward to like having this last year with her to like truly teach things to help her be able to go off in the world and be the person that God created her to be. But that's it for today's video. Thank you to all of our members for supporting this content and allowing us to continue making videos. If you already are a channel member and want the PDF to this, just send me an email. Email is linked below, and then I will send you a copy of this as a PDF as a way to say thank you for being a channel member. If you don't want to be a channel member and you still want to buy it, you can just do super thanks on this video. And for those of you who just can't afford it, I get it. There were times that like I could not even afford a 99-cent PDF. Just watching this video and sharing it with your friends is a huge help. And hopefully just going through the class list and talking about it would give you some free ideas of how to start a nutrition class and how to do it with your high school students. And some of you who watch faithfully every single video with positive comments and your subscription is a huge blessing to me and an encouragement. And it like puts a smile on my face to see those positive comments at the end of a busy day. But thank you again for all of that. That's it for today. Next video you should see is economics, and we will see you next time.